Hello, how are we doing, guys? Welcome to the CEO Sports Show for August 21st, 2025. On today's episode, we are going to be talking about the Dallas Cowboys and the Micah Parsons situation. Brian Schottenheimer confident that the Cowboys that Micah Parsons will be playing week 1 against the Philadelphia Eagles. Was about to say confident that a deal is going to get done, even though I think he might be confident about that. We're also going to be talking about Jalen Hurts and some of the conversations he's been put in. Just absolutely ridiculous. But on both sides, to be honest with you, but we'll talk about that later. And we will also be talking about the Gervonta Davis versus Jake Paul fight that just got confirmed yesterday. So we will be getting into that. Okay. Before we get into the episode, please make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate it. Please make sure to go check out the other shows in the Kretschman Media Network. The Stadium Pulse with Tegan Randolph. He will be going live later on today at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. And the Mic Drop with Benjamin Garcia, who will be going live at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. So thank you guys for tuning into the show today. Greatly appreciate it. Have a great show in store for you guys. And we are going to start it off in the same place that we've started it off for pretty much a majority of the shows so far. We're going to start it off in Dallas with the Micah Parsons situation. This article that I'm about to read, by the way, is by Pro Football Talk. Shireen Williams, who has done an excellent job covering the Cowboys for a very long time. Coach Brian Schottenheimer said he is confident Micah Parsons will play for the Cowboys in the September 4th opener against the Eagles. Quote, the business side of it is going to take care of itself, Schottenheimer said via video from the team. I think at the end of the day, we feel like Micah is going to be out there when we line up against the Philadelphia Eagles here in 15 days or whatever it is. I feel good about it. Yeah. Clarence Hill of All City DLS followed by asking whether Schottenheimer feels good about a Parsons participation in week 1, even if he doesn't get a contract extension completed by then. Quote, I feel good that Micah is going to be out there against the Philadelphia Eagles. Schottenheimer said, adding a smile and a wink. The sides remain in a stalemate with Parsons' August 1st trade request not spurring any movement, and Parsons continues to hold in. He has not participated in any of the team's training camp practices. Parsons is under contract for $24 million under the 5th-year option. He is expected to become the highest-paid non-quarterback in the NFL, topping Steelers edge rusher T.J. Watt, who signed a 3-year, $123 million extension this week. Okay, so let's talk about it. This whole situation, again, it's so nasty. It's so ridiculous what is going on here. I just wish we would get a legitimate answer to what the holdup is. Why aren't they paying Micah Parsons? If anybody on the Cowboys deserves to get paid a lot of money, it is Micah Parsons. Obviously, they have other great players on the team. No doubt about it. Micah Parsons is the best out of anybody on that team. He is the best player on that team. He's one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best. He's one of the best players in the league. That's how good Micah Parsons is. He is up there. That's how good he is. So when you look at the Cowboys and you kind of ask yourself the question, what is the holdup here? Is the holdup that you want to draw this out so that you get more publicity on the team? That might be something. Is it a situation where, now this is just absolutely reckless speculation when I say this, are they trying to send a signal, we don't want to deal with David Mulligetta? You go get another agent, yeah, we'll deal with that. If you want to come to us yourself, yeah, we'll talk contract, but we don't want to talk with David Mulligetta because they understand the type of agent he is. Again, I'm not saying that's what happened. That is just reckless speculation by myself. But it's just, I don't understand why in the world they haven't signed him yet. Like, training camp matters. I know the Jones family may not think that training camp matters, but when the players on the field tell you, man, I was really affected by not having a training camp last year, I think that means something, right? They have more experience in the NFL, playing in the NFL, than the Jones family does. So the fact that they still haven't gotten a contract extension done is so crazy to me. This is the player, like, because, you know, what a lot of the media tries to tell you because they're friends with agents and they're friends with former players is that you just sign these guys right away. As soon as they're eligible for a contract, you just sign them right away. I don't agree to that. But there are certain situations when you have a Micah Parsons, when you have a franchise quarterback, when you have a Patrick Surtain, a Jamar Chase, a Justin Jefferson, one of these guys. Yes, you sign those guys right away because they are elite cornerstone players. I don't believe that in all cases. I don't believe that as soon as they're eligible, you sign them right away. Not in every case, but in these cases, absolutely. And like the fact that they haven't signed them yet, I still can't get over it. And the lack of clarity from the Cowboys is ridiculous to me. And understand this, the Cowboys have been, or I'm sorry, Micah Parsons' side, David Mulgeta, have been wanting to negotiate since the combine of 2024. They approached the Cowboys in 2024, Micah Parsons' side, David Mulgeta, and said, hey, we're open for business. That's all they said. And the Cowboys' response was, hey, we got to get the Dak deal done. We got to get the CD deal done. David Mulgeta said to the Jones family, all right, cool. Handle your business. We understand that. But hey, whenever you want to negotiate, we're open for business. And when the Jones family talks about, oh, well, Micah Parsons has to want to get paid. He's wanted to get paid for a while now. He's been wanting to get paid for over a year and a half. I just don't understand it. And yes, understand this. Micah Parsons said back in December that, hey, I don't need $40 million. He said that back in December until somebody got paid $40 million. And then he says, yeah, you want to know $40 million? Yeah, I'm cool with that. But see, here's the thing. Here's what, when I look at Micah Parsons, if I'm David Mulgeta, I might say to him like, hey, yeah, I know you want a contract and I know this whole situation is not good. But if you go out there and have a 15 to 17 sack season, I mean, you're talking about $45 million a year. Easy. And he goes and wins Defensive Player of the Year, and he's an impact player for that defense. Then you go back to the table. Oh, yeah, those conversations where they started with a 4-0, now they start with a 4-3, a 4-4. It's something that, hey, maybe Micah Parsons should consider that. Maybe he should consider, okay, you don't want to pay me? Fine. I'm going to go out here. I'm going to have a 15 to 17 sack season. And you're going to make a decision on me. And I personally don't believe that Micah Parsons has handled this the right way. If I'm being 100% honest with you, Micah Parsons never should have reported to OTAs. He never should have reported to training camp. He never should have participated in any team activity, because Micah Parsons being with the team shows them that, hey, we don't have to get a deal done. Like, he's not going to miss game checks. Which, by the way, I just can't stand that business practice. I absolutely hate that business practice from the Cowboys. And I hate that Micah Parsons has to do that he has to hold out and miss training camp, because it's very clear that he wants to be there. But at the same time, you have to look at the situation and say, Micah, you handled this the wrong way. You never should have reported to training camp. I get it. He wants to be there. He wants to be around his teammates. He wants to be there for Schottenheimer, who he has a tremendous amount of respect for. But at the end of the day, you have to do what's best for you. We're going to talk about this later with the Gervonta Davis, Jake Paul fight. You have to do what's best for you. It's not about what's best for the team. It's not about what's best for the fans. Because you want to know why I say that? You want to know why I don't think Micah Parsons is being selfish? If he would have held out and he would have said, I'm doing what's best for me. You want to know why I don't believe that? Because last year he could have gotten signed. He could have begged for a contract extension. He could have held out a training camp. He could have done all those things. He could have made it a priority to say, hey, you are going to pay me. It could have been the Ezekiel Elliott situation. But he said, hey, I get it. You got other contracts you got to deal with. Handle them. We'll talk next year. And he showed up to training camp. Had I think, a great season last year, even though he got injured. He was a team player. He looked out for the team. He looked out for the fans. Now it's time to look out for Micah Parsons. And I don't blame him at all. The Jones family shouldn't blame him at all. The fans shouldn't blame him at all, because he already did the team and the fans a solid, in my personal opinion. Okay, moving on now. I want to move on to the Jalen Hurts conversation. Man. I am seeing a lot of talk around Jalen Hurts about how he is a top 5 quarterback and how he's better. I mean, I see there's a guy on TikTok who talks about he's better than Josh Allen. He's better than Joe Burrow, which I just think is an absolute joke, to be honest with you. Respectfully. Look, here's the conversation. Jalen Hurts is a useful quarterback. He contributes to winning for the Eagles, right? He does what he has to do to get the W for the Eagles. And I respect that. I actually have a tremendous amount of respect for Jalen Hurts' game because he understands that, hey, I don't need to be Superman. And he embraces that role. I absolutely respect that. But at the same time, when we talk about Jalen Hurts and compare him to other quarterbacks, we talk about Jalen Hurts compared to Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow has to put up 40 points a game for his team to even have a chance to win the game. Jalen Hurts does not have to do that. Josh Allen has to play with one of the worst receiver cores in football and carries that team to the AFC Championship. Jalen Hurts does not do that. Patrick Mahomes has had one of the most average receiver cores in the NFL. Got them to the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson, same thing. Extremely productive. Hasn't gotten them Super Bowl, sure. Justin Herbert has played for one of the biggest jokes of an organization. Jalen Hurts plays for a fantastic organization. The Eagles are one of the best organizations in football. 2 years prior to when Jalen Hurts got drafted, they won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback. They won a Super Bowl with the backup quarterback. So yes, they were in a little bit of a rebuilding phase when Jalen Hurts got drafted. But you still respected the front office and you understood how competent they were and that they were capable of building a Super Bowl organization. Let's look at some of the other best quarterbacks in the league or top quarterbacks in the league or quarterbacks that have just been with their team for a good amount of time here. Justin Herbert, when was the last time the Chargers won a Super Bowl? Never. Joe Burrow, never. Josh Allen, never. Patrick Mahomes, 1970. Dak Prescott, 1996. These are not good organizations. Now, the Chiefs, different. They have changed. But the Chargers, seriously, Philip Rivers was an awesome quarterback. They had Drew Brees, who's an awesome quarterback. Didn't get him over the top. You start saying to yourself, maybe it's not the quarterback. Maybe it's the organization. Same thing with Joe Burrow. The Bengals are an absolute joke of an organization. Everybody knows this. The Cowboys. Everybody talks about how bad of a general manager Jerry Jones is. Like Josh Allen with the Bills. He carries that organization. Jalen Hurts is not asked to do the same things. And to be honest with you, let's look at this, right? Jalen Hurts in the first two games of the playoffs, the Rams and the Packers, Rams. His stats, 259 yards and 3 total touchdowns. And here's the thing. I know there's going to be people that say, oh, well, you're just a stat watching. Watch those damn games and tell me that he played well. Watch those games and tell me he played well. Because what I'm going to say in return is you're a liar. Because he did not play well in those games. And if he would have played for other organizations like the Chargers, like the Bengals, like the Chiefs, like the Ravens, with the performances that he had in those games, they don't win those games. Compare that to his running back, who's one of the best running backs of all time, 324 yards. That's just rushing. That's not taking into the account his receiving yards in those games. Those are just rushing. And 2 touchdowns. The running back was more productive than the damn quarterback. And people want to tell me that he's a lock top 5 quarterback, that this guy's a future Hall of Famer. He's not. He's not a future Hall of Fame type of guy. He is a useful quarterback that contributes to winning, that does what he has to do to get his team to win. But when we talk about and we give him credit for doing what he has to do to get the win, one thing you have to take into consideration is that every quarterback is different. Justin Herbert has to make difficult throws and move the ball in an offense that doesn't have much talent and isn't schematically well designed. Joe Burrow has to put up 40 points to win games. Same thing with damn near with Josh Allen. So on those plays where it's like, oh, we're in a 3rd and 8 and I have a dig route going over the middle of the field. Am I going to jam this in there? Or am I going to just check the ball down because our defense is going to get a stop like Jalen Hurts can do? It's a different game. When you are being asked to win the game as a quarterback, you are doing things that's going to put the ball in harm's way and put you at risk to turn the ball over. Jalen Hurts, different story, because it could be 3rd and long, right? He could have 5-6 seconds to throw the football. And he checks the ball down to Saquon Barkley. He might go pick you up 7 yards. Now it's 3rd and 1. Push for a first down. It's different. Or if he checks down and Saquon Barkley, only picks up a few yards and they got to punt the ball away, they got the best defense in the league. They're going to get a stop. They're going to get a turnover. They're going to get the offense the ball back. It's different. He's being asked to not lose the game. These other quarterbacks are being asked to go win the game. It's completely different. It's 2 different jobs that these quarterbacks have. And when we talk about this guy as a future Hall of Famer, you have to watch the games. Yes, he helps the Eagles. He does things for that team to make them a better football team. He is a fine quarterback. But when we talk about him with Lamar Jackson, it's not a conversation. The difference between Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson is that people have to tell me what Jalen Hurts does and how good Jalen Hurts is. When I need to find out about how good Lamar Jackson is, you know what I do? I turn on that mother-loving tape and I watch Lamar Jackson. I watch the games and I see how Lamar Jackson has an impact on winning, on how he contributes to up to 80% of his offense. That's what I see from Lamar Jackson. When I watch Jalen Hurts, see, he's a fine quarterback. Does what he has to do to win the games. But we have to stop, and this is just across the NFL, we have to stop confusing fine with great, really good with elite, great to elite. There's different tiers. There's different players in every tier. Jalen Hurts is in one tier. Lamar Jackson is in another tier. The same goes with Josh Allen. The same goes with Joe Burrow. The same goes with Patrick Mahomes. And the tier that Jalen Hurts is in is not in the same tier as them. There is not a comparison. And if you want to say because Jalen Hurts won a Super Bowl that he's a top 5 quarterback, then okay, fine. If you want to say that Jalen Hurts is a top 5 quarterback because he won a Super Bowl, fine. You have to make your list that it goes like this. Pat Mahomes at 1 because he has 3 Super Bowls. Jalen Hurts at 2 because he has a Super Bowl. Matt Stafford at 3 because he has a Super Bowl. Brock Purdy at 4 because he just got to a Super Bowl, went to a conference championship game. Joe Burrow at 5 because he got to a Super Bowl, went to a conference championship game. Jared Goff at 6 because he got to a Super Bowl, got to an NFC championship game. So that's your list. If it's just because he won the Super Bowl, that's the list. And then you could start talking about Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson and these guys, because you can't have Jalen Hurts up in that top 5 because he won a Super Bowl and then have Lamar Jackson in there. That doesn't make any sense. So all those quarterbacks that are clearly the best in the league, get them up out of that top 5. If you're putting Jalen Hurts in there, put Jalen Hurts at 2, and then you're going to need to put Stafford at 3, Purdy at 4, Burrow at 5. See how ridiculous that list is? If you gave a top 5 list and that was the list you gave, everybody would agree, yo, that list is horrible. That's just the way I look at that. So we are going on to the next topic because that gets me fired up. Well, that gets me fired up. I'm fired up this morning. You love to see it. I'm going to get fired up about this next topic. By the way, make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I'll greatly appreciate that. Also, make sure to go check out the Stadium Pulse and the Mic Drop. You can find them on the homepage. And we have 2 big announcements that are going to be coming in the coming days here. It's going to be a lot of fun stuff that we have coming to the channel. And it's going to be a lot of fun. And I can't wait for it. I really can't. So I want to move on to the Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis fight being set up. So I'm reading this on Yahoo Sports by Darshan Desai. Netflix will soon be hosting another major boxing event. The sports streaming service, which boasts 300 million subscribers and will televise the September 13th battle of pound-for-pound greats Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terrence Crawford, began its boxing journey with Jake Paul's controversial fight with Mike Tyson this past November in Arlington, Texas, and now looks to play host to another contentious but money-spinning Paul showdown. Paul will face Gervonta Tank Davis in a Netflix boxing match at the State Farm Arena, Atlanta, Georgia, on November 14th, nearly 1 year to the day from his bout with Tyson. Ring Magazine initially reported Wednesday that the bout is scheduled for November 15th, following a now deleted post from the official Netflix Turkey account with the same details. Uncrowned subsequently learned that the reported venue is currently booked for Nate Bargatiz's, I'm sorry, I definitely butchered that last name, quote, Big Dumb Eyes tour on November 15th. Hence the November 14th date that all parties landed on. This is, article is actually not as long as I thought it was. Paul, 12-1, 7 KOs, was in talks to face the former unified heavyweight champion Anthony Joshua next. But the bout reportedly collapsed due to network issues. The internet star turned boxer defeated his second former world champion, Julio Cesar Chavez, in June by unanimous decision to earn his first world ranking. It was widely believed that Davis, 30-0-1, 28 KOs, would rematch Lamont Roach on August 16th after the pair fought to a controversial draw this past March. Following Davis's infamous kneel-down controversy, the two-division champion, however, was forced to trade a fight date for a court date after being arrested for a misdemeanor battery charge, violence charge, in July after his ex-girlfriend accused him of striking her in the back of the head and slapping her at, I'm not even going to talk about that. Paul versus Davis could be compelling viewing. Davis is vastly more experienced than Paul, but he will likely enter the ring at a 50-pound plus size disadvantage. Okay. I know a lot of people are going to be upset at Gervonta Davis for taking this fight. I applaud him for doing it. And the reason why I applaud him is because what is boxing? What is MMA? What is kickboxing? What is any form of combat sports? It's prize fighting. And this is the biggest prize for Gervonta Davis. Yes, we all want these boxers to do what's best for the fans. But at the end of the day, when Gervonta Davis is retired, the fans are going to move on to somebody else. But Gervonta Davis still has to do Gervonta Davis things. He still has to live a life. He still has to provide for his family. He still has to bring in an income. And when you have the type of payday that he's going to get for this Jake Paul fight, and you compare it to the payday that he's going to get when he fights other fighters, it doesn't even come close. Okay, you don't like that Gervonta Davis took this fight. Let me ask you this question. If you were offered two jobs, right? One job was, hey, you come in and you do a pretty easy task for $2,000 and you only got to work on it for 2 hours. Cool. That sounds great. We have another job for you where you get paid $500, but you have to work for 12 hours and it's a more difficult task. What am I going to do? Everybody's taking the task for 2 hours and $2,000. Everybody. And that's what Gervonta Davis did here. So I don't blame him at all. Now, if you want to say that this is a stain on boxing, then go after the infrastructure of boxing. Go after the promoters that make so much damn money on these boxers. Go after them. That's the person you should go after. That's the people you should go after. Not the boxer that when his 10, 15-year career is over, he's not making money from the fight game like these promoters are. These promoters, you want to know what they're going to do with Gervonta Davis? They're going to move on from him, and they're going to find somebody else to go promote. That's what they're going to do. But Gervonta Davis has to do Gervonta Davis things. He has to still live a life. So if you're going to blame anybody, make sure to blame the promoters that make so much money off these guys. That, again, when these guys are done, when they start to see a decline in their pay-per-view numbers or a decline in their performance and don't see money in these guys anymore, they move on from these guys. That's what they do. They find other fighters that are going to make them money. That's what they do. So Gervonta Davis, go get your money. Go beat Jake Paul like you're going to do. This is a low-risk fight. Gervonta Davis, we'll see what happens. Maybe he knocks him out. Maybe he doesn't. But he's going to win this fight. There's no doubt in my mind about that. I think he's going to knock out Jake Paul, me personally. I think that's going to happen. And Gervonta Davis, after this fight, he'll go on. He'll fight who he has to fight. But at the end of the day, this is prize fighting. That's what combat sports has always been. It's been prize fighting. And if you don't understand that, you don't understand combat sports. That's just what it is. And if you want to say that the sport of boxing needs to be better because there needs to be bigger draws than Jake Paul, how many people in any sports are a bigger draw than Jake Paul? Answer that question. That's like, for example, right? Allen Iverson, in the peak of his popularity, says, you want to know what? Basketball, I'm going to put that on hold. I'm going to train to go be a boxer. And he goes and he trains for a little bit, beats up on some people that have no business boxing. And then he gets to a point where he can fight a guy like Gervonta Davis or one of these other guys. Allen Iverson's going to be a gigantic draw. He's going to be a bigger draw than pretty much anybody in the sport because he's one of the biggest stars in the world at the time, at the peak of his popularity. Same thing here with Jake Paul. He's one of the biggest stars in the world. And I don't think it's a legitimate career that he has as a boxer. But at the same time, he's put some things out there to where you say, okay, this guy can do some things. Like, he looks legit enough to the casual, extremely casual fans of boxing or people who are just kind of interested in the sport to where we can say, hey, he has a 50-pound weight advantage over Gervonta Davis. Maybe something can happen here. That's what this is. It's all promotion. It's all of that. This is not something that Gervonta Davis is doing wrong. He is taking the best possible opportunity he can, and he's running with it. Credit to him. He shouldn't get slandered for that at all. Because again, at the end of the day, if people were put in Gervonta Davis's situation to where he could go and fight somebody where he'll make an absolute bag and it not be something that is as difficult as, let's just say, fighting one of these top fighters in his division, you would take that as well. So if you're not going to stand by what you're going to stand on and say, you want to know what? I would actually take the fight where I'm going to make less money. I have to train harder and I have more of a chance of losing that fight. Do you? Are there people out there that would do that? Sure. I actually do think there are people that would stand by their word and do that. But at the end of the day, I don't look at Gervonta Davis any differently for taking this fight. He's going to win this fight, and then he's going to resume his regular career as a boxer. He's going to be outstanding like he usually is. He's one of the best fighters in the game. And that's just what it is going to be at the end of the day. There's going to be more eyes on boxing. There's going to be more eyes on Gervonta Davis. I personally think it's good for both sides. I think it's good for Gervonta Davis, and it's going to make him a bigger star. And especially if he goes in there and knocks Jake Paul out early in the fight, and now it's like, whoa, this Gervonta Davis dude, he's actually legit. And the build up in the fight, where Gervonta Davis is a very entertaining guy, and people see, wow, this is a very entertaining guy. I actually want to see more of this guy going forward. And that puts more eyes on Gervonta Davis. Salute to him. More money, more eyes on him, easy fight. Sounds pretty straightforward to me. I would do the same thing. And you would as well. Okay, so that's going to be it for the CEO Sports Show for August 24th, 2025. Appreciate you guys for coming out. Please make sure to check out the Stadium Pulse on Kretschman Media. It will be on the homepage with Tegan Randolph. He goes live tonight. Make sure to go check out the Mic Drop with Benjamin Garcia. Make sure to go hit the subscribe, support the content over there. I would greatly appreciate it. I greatly appreciate you guys for coming out. And I will see you guys in the next episode.